Welcome back to Yahoo Finance's special coverage of the 2020 Republican National Convention. Joining me now is the governor of Arkansas, Asa Hutchinson. Governor, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Hey, Andy, it's great to be with you today.
So, what is the message that you're looking for from the convention this week when it comes to the economy?
Well, when it comes to the convention, I expect, first of all, that the president, but also his speakers, will focus on what happened pre-COVID in our country and how the economy was marching on in a very successful fashion under President Trump's leadership. And then he's got to pivot to the current challenges and the future. And everybody is wanting to see what will be another 4 years like under President Trump. I think he has a message to deliver that it's going to be continued reduction of regulations that hurt the growth of business. It's going to be a tax policy that is pro-growth. And, you know, as much as we want to cut taxes, we recognize that because of COVID, we're continuing to build up a pretty big national debt. So I think they've got to have a pro-growth policy and define what that is in terms of the economy. And then it's also about the pocketbook. It's about how we're going to have the next stimulus package, which I believe our country still needs, and to address the president's plan for the current challenges that we face. But we're all looking to see a positive message, and a message of hope and optimism about where we're going to be going in the future. People are looking for that kind of message.
You spoke in 2016 at the RNC, Governor. Not speaking this time, and if so, is that your call or their call?
Well, I mean, first of all, I was supposed to be in Charlotte right now as we speak. I was chairman of my delegation, looking forward to being there. But because of the emergency that we have in terms of the coronavirus and the fact that we're starting school in Arkansas, I wanted to stay here in the state. I needed to be here. But also in terms of the president's messaging, I'm so delighted that you got Senator Tim Scott that's going to be speaking at the convention, and Ambassador Nikki Haley. They're picking their speakers in the right way, talking about foreign policy, talking about the current challenges in our country and the diversity of it that Tim Scott will be able to address. So I like the lineup of speakers that he has.
You mentioned COVID-19, Governor, a number of times, and I'm curious as to how the president is going to convey a positive message and a message of success when it comes to the virus and the economy when people are still dealing with the coronavirus.
Well, what he should do and what he will do might be two different things. But when it comes to the coronavirus, what any leader has learned very quickly is you better be humble about it, because you can't gloat. You don't know what's around the corner, and this is not the time for the biggest and greatest. This is the time for a serious discussion of this. Sure, we all make mistakes as we lead through this. We lean upon the best advice we can. But I don't think people need to have boosterism when it comes to the coronavirus. I think we need to have strong leadership, which the president has provided. And I think it's fine to remind him of what he's done in first stopping the flights to and from China, to stop that cycle very quickly. The fact that they have supported the states and recognized the role of the states and support us every step of the way. But a humble approach is the best one to take as he looks at how we're going to come out of this, hopefully with a vaccine. And that's the message I think we need to hear.
Well, let's drill down on that state point that you just made, Governor, because in 2016 you talked about needing a president who values the role of the states in your speech there. Has President Trump, in fact, lived up to that? Because at various points he's talked about having total authority over states, and states are still waiting for some stimulus as well.
Well, absolutely. He's recognized the role of the states. For example, Joe Biden wants to have a national mandate, national policies, and President Trump has taken it a different way and recognized the role the states have to play, and that what might be good for New York is not necessarily good for North Dakota. It makes a big difference whether you have density of population or otherwise. And so that has been important to recognize the leadership role of the governors. And he has supported that. And part of it, I think, because the vice president's a former governor, he understands that unique role and responsibility. And then they supported us in carrying it out. So that has been helpful. When it comes to the stimulus, they got money to us quickly. That in Arkansas, our unemployment rate is 3 percentage points below the national average. We're putting more people to work. We never did shut down our economy here in this state. We kept moving, and giving us the flexibility to do that made all the difference for us.
You wrote an op-ed piece about wearing masks in your state, and you have a new mandate to do that. Do you think the president has been setting a good example when it comes to mask wearing, Governor?
Well, it took him a while to get there, but yes, whenever he put on that mask, he wore that mask, and then he said publicly, this is important, we need to do this. That's unified our national and state leadership and our healthcare professionals, our doctors, saying this is one thing that we can do. And you think about it's a pretty good conservative Republican principle that is the ultimate individual responsibility. I am going to do this. I'm going to wear a mask. It's my responsibility to do it because that's one thing I can do to slow the spread of the virus. And he has set that example that's unified us, and it is critically important. All our leadership needs to do this because that's really the best tool that we have as we look at school, as we look at business opportunities in the future.
Governor, and finally, I want to ask you about how things are going in Arkansas. You mentioned you're opening school today, so congratulations on that. You never had a stay-at-home order and limited business closings, low cases early, then the spike in the summer, then your mask mandate, and now you've, yesterday I'm seeing here 375 new COVID cases. How would you characterize the situation in your state right now, sir?
Well, right now we're in an improving position. We can't let up because our cases are on a downward trend. And that's very positive. But we're starting school, we're starting activities again. And so that's why we're having to really focus on that social distancing and the individual responsibility. If we don't, our cases are going to go back up. In terms of our business climate, we've taken the approach that let's not shut down businesses. Let's give them the tools to stay open, and let's tell each individual out there of their responsibility. And Arkansans have embraced that. And it's exciting to me as governor. While I'm busy with COVID and our emergency response, today I had a call with the CEO, recruiting them to come to Arkansas. We've got businesses and industry that's in the pipeline for announcements. Arkansas is a great place to do business, and we have the motto that in Arkansas, every business is essential. And that's what we want people to understand.
All right, you got that pitch in at the end there. Thank you very much for your time. Asa Hutchinson, Governor of Arkansas. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.